Hey, you guys, it's Anne Marie. Happy Sage, Soul Sunday. Do, 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 do. I could probably be out here all day, even though it's not hot. But of course, I got the sweatshirt on again. I'm just enjoying. Oh, thank you, Breeze. I was just thinking, I need some wind. Tay in the wind, chickabee. Tay in the wind. Why don't we pull some cards and get some messages of clarity for those of you who like it? I kind of have my stones laying on all my decks because, you know, it's a little breezy. Breezy, easy, beautiful cover girl. Fuck. Now, what's your magical spirit want you to know? What's your magical spirit want you to know? You are powerful. You are strong. You are abundant. You are light. You are dark. And this card, look at that. Look at that. Well, number 13, which is a very, very powerful number. Very powerful. Number 13, it's time to leave the old behind because you got a rebirth coming. Okay. Shedding the crystallites. Taking risks. It's time for you to shed some old ways. Old ways of thinking, old ways of being, old ways of believing. It's when you're able to shed all of those things that you're not, that you're able to determine and find out who you really are. And there's a little jumping spider there. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Now my card's blue. Okay. So I just wanted to pick up the two cards that flew, just to see if they kind of connect with this card, the rebirth card. So the what's the vibe card that flew away was cutting ties, freedom, standing up, awaken. Well, and then the next one was Archangel Michael, protection, prevention from harm, and divine intervention. So when to go back, this was like it's time to leave behind the old ways behind. It's time for you to reawaken to who you need to cut these ties to. It's like she still has this hood on, wondering why she's blinded, wondering why she can't get out of certain situations, and she's not taking. It's like your freedom is on the other side of being able to cut these cords and taking off the hood, taking off the mask that you wear, or taking off what you're trying to blind yourself to. It's like there's something in your life that you really need to cut your ties to, that you're not cutting your ties to. It's attached to this rebirth. Spirit is also saying that you have, if you believe in archangels or whatever, Archangel Michael is the best one for protection. Let me tell you what, Archangel Michael and I, since day one. And it may seem, it's like, it's almost like she's really afraid. It's like the fear, and probably because, you know, I've noticed, certain readers or channelers or people who give messages or people just have pages or whatever. I love how in our energies, what's the word I'm looking for? When we pick up on each other's energies, like, and at least I do in my messages. And I'm saying that because there's an amazing woman that I watch on here, Aura Verse. I fucking love her. Sometimes her shit hits me in the heart. I'm like, oh, I guess I got to take a look at that one. But this kind of, I don't know, for some reason, this card is not reminding me of her, but of the content on her page. And she often talks about, she's the mother of shadows, shadow walkers. And so it's like, you have this mask on that's in the dark, and it's like you're afraid of it. And it's like there's a reason, and she was saying, I believe something in a mess that she gave recently or talked about, you know, the darkness is where we can actually face ourselves, which is true. And that's the prime time to really start to look at ourselves and our shadows when you have this hood on your face. But it's like this hood, this darkness, like you're avoiding having to deal with what you need to stand up on and what you need to awaken to. And it's like your freedom. It's like, you know, on the other side of taking this hood off and cutting these red strings that are attached to you, you know, on the other side of that is your rebirth. However, you're so afraid of it that you're pushing it away. Archangel Michael's here letting you know that you're protected. What is it in the shadows that you are afraid to take a look at about yourself? What is it that you're fearing that you don't want to take this hood off? What are the ties that you truly need to remove yourself from to help you with this rebirth? It's like, well, some people are going to already know. It's the stuff you need to leave behind. But there's a few things that you're choosing to remain blinded in the dark to. That's holding you back. And yes, I know it's easier said than done to cut certain ties and certain bonds, because a lot of it, the people are just the physical symptoms of what we need to cut. Did that go in my mouth? No, right here in my book. Okay. Those are just the physicalities, that's a word, of a deeper rooted thing that we need to face in ourselves. If we're trying to release someone who is verbally abusive to us, or any type of abuse to us, right? Just releasing them isn't cutting the ties and binds. It's cutting that energetic cord with them, hopefully, but not the energetic cord of abuse, which oftentimes is part of our generational cycles that our ancestors couldn't necessarily break. And it's rooted in abandonment. It's rooted in unworthiness and unlovability. So there's the deeper part. You can cut ties with toxic people. But are you then looking at yourself, looking that darkness in the face and saying, okay, why did I allow these toxic people into my life? Why do I continually get in toxic connections where people abandon me? Why do I continually allow people to overstep my boundaries when I've clearly tried to set them? Why do I get into connections that people make me feel unworthy about myself? You can change people, places, and locations and situations, but until you deal with the root cause of your pain and your trauma and the cycles that have been riddled in your family for generations and generations, this rebirth will be hindered. And that's what Spirit is saying. It's finally time for you to take this hood off your head and take a deeper look at the situations and people in your life. What is it you need to surrender to? The fear. Spirit just showed me there's so much fear on the other side of that. That's what's possibly holding you back, is that fear. I mean, I'm not... Someone's like so fearful, you're riddled with anxiety, just the thought of opening up your chest cavity and digging deep and looking at your soul and your spirit. That abandonment wound from childhood, the unworthiness, unlovability wound from childhood. You have to dig deep. And I promise you, with every cell in my body, you will be so much more happier and freer and lighthearted when you dig deep and cut these energetic ties and cords and bonds that have been riddling your family and your lineage for generation after generation. It's not for the faint heart. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's rainbows and butterflies. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. It takes time. But the first thing you got to do is take this fucking mask off. Not that you're pretending, but I'm saying taking this mask off and seeing what's really in your face. It's not the guy that you met at the bar. It's not the girl that you met on social media. Because they will switch bodies and energies until you do the healing work. Surrender to silence. In quiet meditation or contemplation, let go and enter the stillness within you. Silence can heal and replenish you. It can. That's why I don't watch TV, and I don't like listening to a lot of stuff. Like, the only sound I want to hear is nature and Mother Nature and birds and all that. To me, that's peaceful. This will help you ground yourself while you're trying to cut these cords and ties. It's kind of like simultaneously having to do a lot of things at once. Yes, it can be exhausting, but you can replenish yourself in Mother Nature, replenish yourself doing more of what you love. It's a process. There's levels. You can do it. Spirit is saying that there's this huge rebirth. Take a risk on yourself. You took a risk on that guy with the motorcycle, I don't know, all the tattoos, or the person who said they were done doing drugs, and you find out they weren't, and you come home and all your shit's gone. Or that family member who keeps creeping back into your life just to fuck it up. It's time to take a risk on yourself. You've taken risk on everybody else. Why not take a risk on yourself and finally release these cords and these ties and binds? Because Archangel Michael, whatever your higher power, is here to protect